Most people treat their cars better than their bodies. You wouldn't put low-grade fuel in a Ferrari, yet we fuel our million-dollar biological engines with processed filler. Wealth isn't just about a big bank account. It's the utility of those digits. If you're 65 with 2 million, but you're stuck in a hospital bed, your net wealth is effectively zero. Welcome to the Net Wealth Nest podcast. I'm your host, Jim LeBeth. Today, we're going to talk about how to handle one of your big three, food. We're going to talk about how do you keep your food healthy so you can keep yourself healthy and invest in the most important thing in your life, your body. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the USDA, a thrifty food plan for a family of four ranges between $800 and $950. Typically, what I tell people is aim for your food to consume about 15% of your net pay. Net pay means after taxes, not your gross, whatever you take home. 15% of that on a monthly basis should be allocated to your food. With two adults living together, that 15% is doable. Let's take it to a family of four, maybe two children. That's probably going to range closer to 20%, especially in today's environment. And that's okay. You just have to make sure you're balancing that with the rest of your big three, your housing and your transportation. When we talk about roughly 20%, if we just take two individuals that are making $21 an hour, working on an average of 35 to 40 hours a week over the course of the month, after taxes, they're going to bring home combined about $4,775. And so that is going to mean that they are going to be able to spend somewhere between that $950 and $1,000 on their food for the course of that month. When we talk about food, we're talking about all food, whether it be dining at home or dining away from home. One of the things to keep in mind is the hidden tax in dining away from home, or even worse, the hidden tax of dining at home with delivery. DoorDash and Uber Eats, that is truly the payday loan of the food industry. And here's the math on this. You're basically paying 30% markup on the food, a service fee, a delivery fee, and a tip. You're effectively taking out a high-interest microloan to avoid walking to your kitchen and making food or going to the place and getting the food versus having it delivered. There are people out there that are paying $30 to $40 for a $12 burrito. That's a negative 200% return on your investment. This habit is the difference between having a fully funded emergency fund or living paycheck to paycheck. Now, when we zoom out, the average American spends about $330 on food away from home. So that could be dining out or delivery. But there's a lot of noise in that number, and the reason is it counts everybody. Let's look at the bottom 60% of earners in the United States, and they're going to spend about $250 a month eating away from home / getting items delivered. Some of this is a strategic error. Sometimes people are thinking, well, I'm trying to save time and I'm also trying to eat healthy. And their healthy alternative might be, I'm going to go to Chipotle as an example. And while there are options in some of these restaurants to have healthy meals, there are actually more options of unhealthy meals. And on top of that, in some of these restaurants, you're paying that health halo premium for it. Within restaurants, prices are continuing to rise with the cost of inflation. They look to average over the course of this year almost 4%. And if you don't build the skill of cooking, your cost of living could continue to outpace your raises. The mission here is continuing to remember that every dollar you save by avoiding the convenience trap goes directly into your game of money fund. Don't forget that convenience is a want, not a need. And you need to make sure you're focusing on your needs so that you're not outpacing the amount of money you make and you're not outpacing raises as you continue to hopefully grow your income year over year. Quick program interruption. I get it. Money can be emotional, frustrating, and stressful. But if you are or plan on working on your money, you don't have to do it alone. Join our private Net Wealth Nest community for weekly mindset, practical money tips, and group accountability. Think you need a personalized plan? Check out our one-on-one coaching. And lastly, if you're an organization, school, or small business, we also run course-based financial education programs that help those closest to you. Head to our website or click the link in the description and we'll get you set up with the help that you need. The flip side of that is also eating at low-quality fast food places is actually more impactful to your budget long-term than spending a little bit more time, energy, and effort up front eating healthier. Here's what I mean by that. 60% of all bankruptcies in the United States are tied to medical expenses, meaning people accumulate medical bills, they run out of the capability to pay those bills, and they declare bankruptcy. Spending $50 or $100 more a month on nutrient-dense food and changing the way you shop, focusing on things like your fiber, your protein, healthy fats, healthier options, versus paying a $5,000 deductible for a heart procedure or managing type 2 diabetes is much more friendly to your budget over time. That's the cheap trap, where being cheap on food today leads to being broke on medical bills tomorrow. And that's the scarcity mindset we want to avoid. It's okay to spend a little bit more now on quality items to ensure that you're protecting yourself in the future and living a healthier, happier life. So this is all great and good, but what are some tactical things that you can do? I'm in the same boat on a lot of this stuff that you guys are, that it's not always easy to eat healthy. It's sometimes not fun, depending on what you're trying to eat or what you're doing. Quite frankly, it requires a little bit of prep work up front. For the average person, that's not necessarily easy. It is simple to say, not easy to execute. If you have a family and kids, you're out and about taking care of other family members, doing things in your community, taking care of pets, whatever it might be, most people's day fills up with responsibilities. And sometimes, especially at dinner time, by the time you get to the end of the day, you're tired, your brain is fried, and it's easier and sometimes a comfort to eat unhealthy foods. On top of that, the industry is making those foods, especially the unhealthy, highly ultra-processed foods, more and more palatable, where you are not feeling full as you eat them and they taste better and better and better. That is a dangerous combination for something that we should try to ingest less and less of over time to make sure we live a happy and healthy life. And so the reason I say that is, again, this is something that I struggle with. With a family of 5, work is done, my wife and I sit down, we are exhausted by 5 p.m. and we still have dinner to go, making sure the kids are taken care of. There could be things that they have to do, whether it be homework, bath time, spending time with them, playing with them. It is a grind. And so I'm going to try to give you some cost-effective things that you can do that will help. But before I go into those, here's the thing I really want you to hear. That exhaustion, it's not a lack of willpower. It's decision fatigue. See, the game of money isn't won by people who are just better at resisting a burrito. It's won by people who understand that their brain has a limited budget of high-level decisions every single day. If you spend your brain power at 5 p.m. debating chicken or pizza, you're using the same mental energy that you should be using to analyze investments or plan your next career move or figure out how to generate more income with your side hustle. The 1% don't have more willpower than you. They have better systems. They've automated the basic 20% of their life so they can focus 80% of their energy on things that actually move the needle on their wealth. So when I give you these tactical tips in a second, the bulk buying, the meal prepping, I don't want you to look at them as chores. I want you to view them as energy insurance. We are doing the work on Sunday, so on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, you don't have to make those decisions. You've already won the game before it even started. By automating your plate, you're actually buying back the mental capacity to build your kingdom. Let's look at how we build that system with the basics. So focus on the basics at first, things you can buy in bulk. Healthy grains, beans, frozen vegetables, frozen fruits. These are the index funds of the grocery store. They're low cost and they have high long-term return. The other thing to think about is everybody always tells you to buy fresh. Buying fresh is really important, especially if you've got great grocery stores. But make sure you're looking at what's in season or knowing what's in season in the area that you live. My kids love raspberries. When we get into October, November, December, January, and February, raspberries sky high in pricing. They're already a little bit pricey, but they go bananas during the time. It's because it's out of season. So how do you supplement with the fruit that maybe is more in season? Apples. Maybe strawberries have a different season. Grapes seem to have a different season. Looking at where the fruit pricing is will help you determine the season. And the same can be said for many vegetables. I want to make sure you understand that you don't have to shop at Whole Foods either. Many people associate that healthy food is going to be more expensive, and it does not have to be that way. You don't have to have the primo grocery store, top end, most expensive foods. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about making educated decisions, working to buy bulk foods when it makes sense, nutrient dense foods, and looking for deals. Once you get past the grains, the beans, the frozen veggies, the frozen fruit, and you start working into the produce, think about meat. Done right, you can save money. If you want to buy a steak that is pre-cut, you are paying more than if you buy a bulk amount of that steak that is not pre-cut. Costco is a really great example of this. If you go to most Costco's, they're going to have maybe a 4, 6, or 8 pack of, let's just say, any type of strip steak. You can also turn around and in their bunkers, they will have a bulk amount of that steak. When you look at the price per pound, although the bulk one is typically more expensive in just pure dollars, it's because you're getting much, much more. But the price per pound is usually significantly less expensive than if you just turn around and go to the other bunker that has pre-cut steaks wrapped in cellophane for you. So if you can buy that bulk and you can cut your own steaks, then you are saving a significant portion of money. The great part about this is all of that is freezable. You can cut it, wrap it, freeze it when you're ready to use it, or a day or two before you're ready to use it. You can pull it out, thaw it, and cook it. Meat is a great thing to freeze long term. It is the most expensive portion of the average person's food and grocery budget. If you can buy meat in bulk, cut it yourself, and freeze it, you're going to save yourself a significant portion of money, and you're going to be able to cook it the way you want it, which means that you'll be able to make it in a healthier version. This brings us to meal prep. And meal prep is where the not fun part seems to be for most people, right? Because you're usually spending multiple hours cooking a bunch of food so that you can package it all up and either store it in your refrigerator, or if it's capable to be frozen, freeze it. And this is where we lose a lot of people. And that's understandable. And at some point, you're going to have to make a choice between the expense of convenience, and if that fits into your budget, and the savings of meal prepping and some of the time that you'll have to invest in that. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I'm just going to say it, you can't afford to be convenient. You have to invest into the meal prep or the freezer or however you're going to do it. But you have to invest into less convenience at a cheaper price so you can break out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle. The other thing to think about from a mindset standpoint and what might help you is cooking shouldn't be viewed as a housework or a chore. It should be viewed as a high impact skill. We've talked about high impact skills when it comes to income in the past, but this is a high impact skill that not only can save you money, but it can actually help you live healthier long term. And so taking some time to maybe look up recipes, there's a bazillion and a half influencers out on social media that will give you 1.5 million recipes. There are people everywhere that will show you how to cook. You can get as technical as you want about it. There are people that will show you the fastest way to cook things. And then people like Chef Gordon Ramsay has videos out on the internet. All of this is free, where you could cook the most insane meal you'd ever want. View this as a skill that will last you a lifetime. Even if there's only 5 or 10 dishes that you can cook flawlessly over and over again, taking that mindset of, hey, cooking isn't housework, it's a skill. And if you live in a family, it's a skill that you could teach to the rest of your family to benefit them. That's a big difference than viewing it as a chore I have to do. And then the other thing to understand is, on average, a home cooked meal cost somewhere between $4 and $8 a serving. The same meal for fast casual, that's averaging somewhere between $14 and $18. You're talking on average about a $10 difference, which means in a household of two, that's $20. In a family of four, that's $40 for every meal. There's your hourly rate of cooking. If you're saving $20 to $40 for a meal that takes you a half hour to an hour to cook, you could be paying yourself somewhere between $40 to $80 an hour to cook that meal. That is a huge rate of return and is just another way for you to bridge the gap between your income and what you spend. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the big bucket. If you have two adults that are making $21 a piece in their home, we're averaging 35 to 40 hours a week at your job, you're taking home that $4,775. If you're following the basic principles that we recommend, $1,400 of that is going to your rent or your mortgage. You have about $475 going to your transportation, and that's going to leave you about $950 to $1,000 a month to spend on food, including going out to eat or delivery. The average person is spending 25% of their food budget going out to eat. If you can cut that to 10%, only spend $100 a month on that in this example, you're opening up space to buy healthier food, even if it is just a little bit more expensive. You're fueling yourself to be living a more sustainable life long term. So what next, right? You told me to cook more. You've shown me that like buying in bulk is really important, to stick to certain things, all of that. Like, great, I can start to do that. A couple other things that you should do immediately. Delete your DoorDash or Uber Eats apps. The convenience makes it easy to spend. So if you have to delete those so that you can't just click on and order from your local restaurant, do it today. Find the money. That's the second piece. Look at the last 30 or 60 days of bank statements and add up all the times that you spent either going out to eat or ordering food. And if you're not doing this already for your budget and tracking it, I would implore you to do that. Add all that up. Over 30 days, what does that look like? What's that average? Now multiply it by 12. That's the number you're spending. And if you're the average person, $250 over the course of 12 months is $3,000. $3,000 on going out to eat. For most people, that is a significant amount of money. Lastly, I'll say all this. It's not about cutting out something that you might love to do. If you love going out to eat, and maybe you go out with your significant other, your family, your friends, your parents, whoever, there's not a reason you can't do that. Just be mindful of that spending. If you are spending somewhere between $200 and $300 a month on going out to eat, and you really like it, but you're maybe having one dinner a month with friends and family, just focus on that one dinner and try to resolve all the other things. You're going to help save yourself money. You're probably going to feed yourself healthier food. It's not about just saving money. It's about getting return on the food that you are buying that will help you perpetuate longer term wellness, which will allow you to perpetuate better wealth returns over your lifetime. If you find that you're spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year on convenience and random spending, and you want to redirect that into something that will help you build your wealth engine, join our community. It's great for providing peer accountability, ability to ask questions, bounce ideas off of others, and share wins with like-minded people. I hope this was helpful. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit that like button. And if you're listening to this on an audio podcast like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you leave us a review. Thanks for joining. My name's Jim. Bye, everybody. Net Wealth Nest LLC and Podcast is an educational platform committed to providing resources and information to empower individuals on their financial journey. Please note, we do not provide financial, tax, or investment advice. All financial decisions should be made in consultation with a qualified professional who understands your unique circumstances. Seeking personalized advice is a smart and necessary step before making any major financial commitments. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you found value in this episode, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Net Wealth Nest, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. We read every comment, and they help us improve and guide what topics we dive into next. And hey, if something you heard today resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a family member, a coworker, your barber, your barista, even a stranger in line. You never know who might need this message. Remember, building net wealth is a journey, but you don't have to do it alone. Stick with us, and together, let's grow your net wealth nest.